This is my Roland TD30 KV. It's the TD30 with the supernatural engine in it, which is the more advanced one for this, I think since 2013. And I'll just give you a little overview of it. It's got the metallic looking shells to it, which are stock. Turns out you can actually replace these with your own custom, I guess, wrap. And they give you the measurements, so you just take those off and ask somebody to make some for you. You do it yourself. Okay, so I can turn it on. And on top of the snare drum is my little mess. These are it's for tendonitis for my wrists and for my forearms. I went through massive problems with tendonitis for years from playing drums and the computers, and of course my headphones, which plug into the TD30. So the TD30 is it's really powerful, and I haven't even scratched the surface on it because I just don't have time to play around with it. I've got 3 kids, so basically I use it for practice. I do know how to do a few things. For example, I had a video on how to assign a sound to the drum, the rim, or the cymbal, as well as maybe you would call it a more advanced part where you're going to work on a hi-hat sound, a closed hi-hat sound on the bar trigger, which I attached. The bar trigger doesn't come with a TD30 KV. It's a separate accessory which I bought because I wanted a closed hi-hat sound on the just next to my right cymbal. There it is right there. And so there's kind of a more advanced editing process to get the closed hi-hat sound. You can get the open, no problem, but to get the closed, anyway, I'll show you a video on how to do that. So there are many different drum kits, and you can just scroll through the different ones. You know, hard bebop, rock solid, second line, robo, saturated. This is we're at number 47. If we go all the way down to number 1, it starts with a studio kit, and this one's called LA Metal, Swingin', Burnin', Birch, Nashville, Loud Rock. There's only a few that I use regularly for practice, and that would be Acid Funk, and I like the Melodious one just for fun, and I'll play these for you. And also I do like the Rock Gig is actually pretty good, especially in the headphones. Rock Solid is pretty good. This is for, you know, what I mean by pretty good is it sounds more like a real drum kit to me. And the Jazzes, I like that one for practicing jazz. Okay, so you can raise and lower the volume of each tom, snare, hi-hat, the crash, the ride, or the auxiliary, which, for example, the auxiliary would be for all of, like the bar trigger, for example. That's an auxiliary cable or input. And then you can play around with the ambience. There's all types of editing features that I haven't even started playing with, but I do know how to assign different sounds and instruments using the instrument. So as I get more advanced on this, I'll do a video on those things. But the main thing, if you're going to be using this for practice, and you know you're not an advanced technician when it comes to this stuff like me, the main things you're going to want to use are the assigning the instrument, which I show you in another video, and then just playing around with the drum kits, obviously, and then the tempo. This is the tempo button here, and that is going to give you your click track. I don't think you can hear that. Let me turn on my amplifier, which is a big mess down here. It's the Roland PM10. It's great for practice. So right now it's at 141 beats per minute, and if I just press F5 here, it says, you know, the click track is off. There you go. And you can use this to go up and down. So this is what I use all the time, every single day, the click track. But it also has songs. So, for example, and they're not all that great, but you know, it's fun to go between the click track and the songs, and also to use both. Here's the shuffle rock song. Increase the tempo. Okay, and I hit stop. And then I can shuffle through the different, turn off the click track, songs, shuffle rock, salsa freak, shuffle pop, progressive metal, fusion. I'll just give you an example here. This is the progressive metal. Okay, so that's for practice. That is basically what you're going to be messing around with. Okay, so now I'm just going to run through a few of the kits just to give you an idea what it sounds like when you actually play them, along with double bass, and we'll see you when we do that. So I'm going to run through some of the drum kits. There's a whole bunch of them here, so I'm just going to give you a taste of the ones that I use more often than not. The first one's a studio sound. I don't use it very much, but I'll just play it real quick. So the TD30, the KV, all the high-end Roland drum sets, even the mid-range ones have, at least on this one I know, you can get rim shots that are just almost exactly the same as a regular acoustic kit. Regular snare, this is a rim shot. If you go closer to the rim, so it's basically the same thing as an acoustic kit. I don't change my playing at all. It's just amazing. Okay, this is the second drum kit on the list here, LA Metal. I don't use it very much, but let's just give you a taste of that. And now I'm going to start showing you some of the ones I use often for practice. Oh, but first I want to show you the sensitivity levels on these toms are already set in the TD30 by Roland, but you can change it at any time. So, for example, the LA Metal kit I just played, the sensitivity levels aren't very high. I mean, it's meant for you to really pound it, but this one's called JJ's D&B. It's kind of a drum and bass type sound. And so the sensitivity levels on the snare are high. I don't have to hit it hard to get a sound. So to give you an idea of what a sensitivity level is, for example, if I were to use brushes on this kit, and I could on the snare drum, I would set the sensitivity level very high. I don't have brushes, but this one's probably mid-range in terms of how sensitive it is. So I'm barely even touching it. Barely touching it. Okay, and getting away from an actual acoustic kit, this is a djembe sound. Okay, and back to a regular drum kit sound. This one's called Stage. Sounds pretty good. That's right, you can get the sound on the cymbals. Rockmaster, this one's another heavy sound. Okay, let me get up to the ones I use frequently. Acid funk I use quite a bit for practice. Bass drum sounds pretty good. Punk rock, open maple, 70s rock. RB's trashy. Melodious, this one's kind of fun to play around with. Here's what it sounds like. Which I'm not a huge fan of, but I do like the... Okay, I'm skipping through a whole bunch more drum dubstep. Hip hop. D&B, super loop. Oh, this one's fun. You trigger a bass drum or a bass line with the bass drum. Process rock gig. I actually like this one. It sounds especially good in the headphones. Well, let's see if you can hear it. The bass drum's got kind of a low end to it. I don't know if it picks up on this mic, but here we go. bebop. Rock solid. Okay, saturated piccolo fat. There's so many here. This one I like to practice jazz to, just because it sounds close to the real thing. And you can play along to songs, which I kind of showed you in the beginning. This one has a song attached to it, so when I hit the cymbal here, and I hear it again, it turns off. So if I hit... And I'm still skipping through. Well, there's so many here. This is another bebop kit. Crossover, skanky. Sound of those toms. Metalcore, jazz combo, spark. 80s machine. Of course, the pop. The 80s pop. Cosmic. (1985) TR-08, TR-808. And then Latin drums. Really dry. Not sure I like that, but another Latin sound. Brazil. Cajon. Not a big fan. African. Karimba. Peter Gabriel. Kache. lastly, tabla. I'm going to cut it short here. We're going deeper than I intended to. Okay, so if you have any questions on it, let me know. Hope you helped you make a decision to get one, or if you have one already, stay tuned for more videos on getting more advanced with the TD30.